popped into my mind, so I thought I'd capture the moment. Hello, welcome. Are you ready to chatty chat about my home purchasing process? I hope you are. For those who are new, hello, my name is Katie, and I started the home buying process about the middle of last year, middle of 2023. So I decided to buy a new home construction, and I just want to talk about the process to date, and then toward the end of the video, take you on kind of the current stages. I will not talk about the cost or the amount that I paid for my good faith deposit, but otherwise I will talk about costs. So if you're interested to know kind of what I paid for like inspection and things like that, we'll touch on that in this video. I hope that interests you and that you'll come along for the journey. So again, about the middle of last year, I found a builder that I liked, I found an area that I liked, and a lot that I liked. So with that, I signed a purchase agreement with the builder, essentially saying that I want you to build this on this land and that I agree to buy it once it's complete. And with that, I paid them a good faith deposit. About a little while later, maybe about 2 weeks later, I went for a home design session where I got to look at options that they offer for flooring, paint color, backsplash, light fixtures, all of these things, and kind of decided what I wanted and what I could afford. Definitely had to do some balancing acts because I don't have endless funds. No surprise there, right? I did have to do some compromises, but I came down to just prioritizing what I cared about where, such as getting a better stove and oven and like compromising on my dishwasher, right? So things like that. Life, compromising and deciding priorities, life. So I did that, and then I gave them another chunk of money as an additional good faith deposit, right? So kind of saying, yeah, so we agreed to a certain price, and I gave you a good faith deposit on that, and then now I'm going to actually add some elements to it, so I'm going to increase my good faith deposit because I've now increased the cost of the home. That money has been sitting in escrow, and a handful of months after, they broke ground and have been building my home. And I've been able to go and visit it and see it all through the construction process, which has been really fun. I am a first-time home buyer, and it's not always the case that a first-time home buyer can get into new construction. And right now, the way the housing market is in the US, what was already on the market versus what I'm able to get, had I chosen something on the market, it would have been similar cost. I would have wanted to change more. I would have, wanted to update a kitchen and things like that. So this was a really good option for me that wouldn't have been available to me in a different housing market. But anywho, that's boring. So let's talk about kind of what I have paid since the good faith deposit. So because I'm doing new construction, I had the ability to do a pre-drywall construction. Nope. I had the ability to do a pre-drywall inspection. This is where I found an inspection company, a builder inspection, a builder inspector, who I paid out of pocket to go and do a pre-drywall inspection. So they'll go and kind of look at, there's these things called like tie downs where they are tying the frame to the foundation, and there's certain regulations about how every so often they have to be. There's metal things, what are they called? Like nail stoppers, that's not what they're called. But so in some of your studs, they'll actually drill holes through there and put things like electrical wires through them. And in that, they have to put a plate in front of that then, so you don't nail through there. Those are just examples of things that they look at the pre-drywall inspection. So I opted to have that done, and so that cost was $425 for me. And at the end of that, they produced a report to say, you know, these things look good, these things need to be addressed. For me, there was only one thing that needed to be addressed, and it was missing one of those plates on a stud. And so I was able to get that fixed. Fast forward many months, and now my home is complete, and I'm within a month of closing. So I went ahead and had a final inspection done. And so this is where the home is supposed to be done, and a building inspector comes out. Again, a third party that I paid for comes out and looks at certain things. I chose not just to have the base inspection. I also had them do a termite inspection, which is a thing here in North Carolina. And then I also had them do radon testing. So I could have done radon testing myself at a much lower cost. For various reasons, which I won't bore you with, I chose to pay their very high cost of having them do the radon testing. So those three things, the base final inspection, radon testing, termite inspection, came to $750. So ouch, that hurt a little bit. But I, rather be safe than sorry. And so hopefully the inspection found things that needed to be addressed and that I won't have any issues. Unfortunately, inspections aren't like guarantees of any kind, but here's hoping. Also, I have since paid an appraisal fee. This is typically paid at closing, but my bank is just doing things a little bit different, which will be fine. It'll mean that I'm paying less come closing. What the appraisal does is has somebody come out, again, a third party, and they go through and look at the home and say, based on other sales in the area or the value of other homes in similar areas, this home is worth X amount of dollars. So this cost $595. And again, it's typically included in closing costs. I just happened to pay it early, and that's fine. It also meant that I had my appraisal done well in advance, so I knew how much they were going to value my home at. The thing about buying new construction and doing this purchase agreement, I was locked into buying this home. There's pretty much like nothing that I can do to break this purchase agreement. And I agreed to a price. For at least my experience is distinctly different than buying from another homeowner, right? Because I'm buying from the builder. So when we often think about buying homes, you give an offer, you have an inspection, maybe some things need to be fixed. So you either ask the buyer to fix it or you reduce your offer, the amount you're willing to buy the home for. And they can either agree or, step away. I do not have that option. So we agreed to a price for this home. If the appraiser were to come in, so let's just use easy numbers. Let's say I agreed to buy the home for $150. And let's say the appraiser came in and said this home is only worth $140. Then the bank is not going to loan me more than what somebody says the home is worth. But I had already agreed to buy it for $150. So I would have been responsible for paying the additional $10 at closing. So it's a little bit different, but it could potentially have a large impact on the home purchasing process for new construction. Now, I'm very fortunate that that was not the instance that I came into. The appraiser is saying that the home is worth what we've agreed the price will be. So I am very fortunate that I am not going to have to hand over more dollars than kind of expected come closing. My exact numbers for closing are still being decided. There are things that impact how much you have to hand off at closing, and that includes like at what point of the month are you closing on, because you may or may not have to prepay like interest. So waiting for some of those final numbers, but I'm actually expecting to pay very little at closing. I've already given a large chunk of money that's being held in escrow. So that's one reason my closing costs should be low. The other is that this builder also gave me what's called builder credits. So they're saying, hey, if you buy from us, we'll give you some money towards the value of the home. And I think that's a great thing that you're able to get for new construction. Especially, it kind of helped me go, oh, that's a really good option to go with you, because interest rates are higher right now. So it's just kind of a balancing act. Fingers crossed I am correct, and the current estimate for closing is correct, and that I won't be handing over a large sum of money at closing. Well, large relative to the cost of the home. Anywho, those are the costs that I've paid to date and the things that I've done to date. Good morning. I am on my way to my house. It is March 11th, and today I have a walkthrough. This walkthrough is intended to look for any imperfections, anything that I need the builders to either redo or fix prior to closing. So this will be, I think, one of 3 walkthroughs, or maybe just one of 2. I was there just a month ago, and there were so many dings on the wall and holes, and just on the second floor there's a thermostat, and apparently things weren't in the wall right, so the electrician or whomever, the HVAC person, had to put 2 different holes in the wall before they got it right for where the thermostat was going to go, and those have to be patched. It was kind of sad to see my house in that way, because the way I explained it to a friend was, if you go and buy a car, and a new car, and there's a ding in it, and the dealer's like, oh, don't worry, we'll fix that ding. You're like, no, this is a brand new car. Just give me another one. But that's not how it is with homes. So, yeah, so I'm meeting up with my realtor first to get lunch. And then from there, we will continue the journey onto the site. So I'm excited to see it. I hope it's really put back together. Because there were a fair few issues. It was really all the issues that I saw were in the drywall. And, how many places have I lived and I've not noticed issues with the drywall, So a drywall can be patched. I've certainly done it. Anywho, I'm excited. This is just, one step of the process. Up until the minute I had to leave this morning, I was doing more mortgage stuff. I just started filling out the buyer information sheet for the lawyers. I guess they need this to close on the home. And I just checked. So it's buyer name. I filled that out. And then it's marital status. And I just checked unmarried. And this is totally giving me Miranda vibes from Sex and the City, where it's yes, I'm an independent lady.
Check the single woman box, initial, and the down payment's coming from your father.
No, just me.
So that just popped into my mind, so I thought I'd capture the moment. I was doing more mortgage stuff because they needed a letter and I didn't like put one phrase in the letter, so I had to redo it. It's just, you know, part of the home buying process. I would much rather fill out like 100 lease applications before another mortgage loan paperwork crapola. So anywho, I will check in with you all later. I am back home now. It was a whirlwind of a day. As I was driving home, I realized that for the first time ever, I just saw my home to be almost complete. Well, like it is completed. There was just like, we did find minor issues that they are going to address, and then hopefully it'll be done by the next walkthrough. But beyond that, my place is complete. And when I was driving home, I realized that I saw it with completely emotionless, which is so typical me. I'm very much I'm hardwired for, or I'm conditioned for a hope for the best but plan for the worst type of mentality. And I just realized that was at play, and that's okay. The excitement will come, but now I'm realizing that when my realtor was like, I think you're really gonna like it here, I think she was trying to elicit some excitement out of me rather than just very like business matter of fact. But I was very business, very matter of fact. Like, part of what they told me today was about certain, like the way certain things work in my house. Like, hey, if this pipe is dripping, you're gonna you have an issue with your AC. Or they showed me like how everything with the garage opener, automatic garage door works, which I'm gonna ask them when I see them again to go through again, because what? Like, I got to the point trying to listen to them where my brain was just like so overwhelmed with information that I was like, if I try to open my garage door and it doesn't open, I'm just gonna park outside. Or if my car's inside the garage and it won't open, I'll just call for a ride share, because they were like, this is how you take it off the track, this is how you put it back on the track, this, that, and the other. And I was just like, pass. Like, yeah, like home ownership, maybe not for me, but hey, no goes backsies. it's happening. I think today probably was a lot for me. This is a big life change. It's exciting, but it's still a lot. So I'm showered, hair wet. I am going to spend the rest of my evening reading, trying to catch up. I'm a little bit behind on my reading for the month, so get some atomic habits reading in. But overall, today was a good day. I saw my house complete, and next time I will see it with hopefully all of its minor issues resolved. So I think that's when I will check in with you guys again, is when I'm doing my next walkthrough. I might give a little sneak peek at the next walkthrough, but I do want to hold off showing you guys too much before I start to move in. All right, I am going to get to reading, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, back in the car on my way to Charlotte for another walkthrough, and I can only hope that I do not have food in my teeth this time. So sorry if I do again, but fingers crossed that I do not. On the way to Charlotte, this walkthrough is to confirm that they have fixed everything that we marked as needing fixed during the last walkthrough. I am going early though, and the reason is so one, I can measure things, like feeling like I'm not holding them up or anything like that. I want to measure, like I need to buy a fridge, so I want to measure that space, things like that. And then I also just want to spend some time in the home without other people, without a different agenda, where I can just kind of start to process the fact that this is happening or happening soon. I mentioned last time when I realized when I was leaving the walkthrough that I did that walkthrough with no emotion. It was like all business, right? They were telling me things about the home and we were looking for things that need kind of fine tuning. And I didn't have any excitement. I was just emotionless. And honestly, I'm a little bit numb. Like I'm definitely feeling like I've gone into a state of just like numbness of like, let's just power through all of the to-dos and everything. Because things are very like, unfortunately, very fluid, very up in the air. Like I'm supposed to be closing in a week about, and you still like, things could still happen that make it so you don't close on the given day. I was talking to my finance guy because like I still don't have certificate of occupancy for this house. And I asked the finance guy, I was like, is that normal, like this far in the game, to not have certificate of occupancy but have like a closing date? And he was like, on some of the things I've closed on, like we've not gotten the CO until the day of. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. Like I'm not going to take a day off from work only to show up and be like, oh, we don't have the CO. So anyway, I am coping as best as I can with the fact that things are not like set in stone. I'm a very like plan person when it comes to things like this. So it's just, just having to go with the flow and be fluid, and it's all good.
Right to continue on US 74 East Andrew Jackson Highway.
So I am going to see what kind of energy I have when visiting the house today. So hopefully it's...
Keep right to continue on US 74 East.
I'm hoping to have like a little better energy from the home today than last time.
Continue for 21 miles.
I think I've mentioned before that I'm not a big fan of the current construction manager. I really liked the guy I had before. I don't know why they switched me, but it happened that they did. So I know last time I was going in and I was like, ugh, is he gonna frustrate me? But he ended up not that day. He has since, but whatever. So I think the time in the home without anyone else there will do me some good. Anyway, that's a lot. Rambling. On the way to Charlotte area. Gonna go see my little home to be. I will check in with you guys a little bit later. Good morning. The walkthrough was good. There are some issues still for them to fix. I did find a few more things I wasn't supposed to add to the list, but we found things. And spending time, like going there by myself and like opening doors myself and things like that. Like I was able to catch that like one door wasn't latching, rather than last time one of the customer service people were like doing all the motions. So anyway, yeah, it was good. But the reality of like home ownership is hitting me. I have mentioned before that I love renting. I love not being responsible for things, but the goal is to stop moving. During the walkthrough, they mentioned, like, we were looking at the grout in the walk-in shower, and they were like, oh, just make sure to do a grout sealant on this. And I said, what? And they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna wanna do a grout sealer. And so one, that's a cost that I wasn't expecting. It's not that expensive, but it's still money that I should spend immediately that I wasn't anticipating. And I'm a $0 budgeter, so I very much tend to have jobs for all of my dollars. And now I'm realizing, like, okay, I've got to change up. I kind of was starting to get hints of this, but now it's like full reality. I need to change up how I'm divvying up my money, and I need to have a huge chunk for these type of expenses that I'm not like exactly like aren't forethought of mind, but are going to kind of sneak up. So the other thing is I had anticipated, so I have a walk-in shower that's fully enclosed, and then I have a tub shower combo. And at the tub shower combo, there's no curtain rod for the shower curtain at this point. That was fine because I was going to use the walk-in shower. Well, now I'm reading about and learning about grout sealant, and it's like, okay, after you seal it, try to keep the area dry for 72 hours. It's like, okay, so then I am going to want to use the other shower, which means I am going to need a curtain rod sooner rather than later. So wow, I'm glad I'm learning it now before I have like cemented ideas for all of my dollars. So I can just like be like, all right, we're going to be very flexible. It's not my norm to be very fluid and flexible, but this is great, right? It's a great experience. Also, the fact that I'm going to have to like jump right in and do grout sealant, like, isn't there like the maintenance number and they should do that for me? No? Okay, yeah. Welcome to home ownership. So I'm going to become a DIYer. I'm going to become someone who can fix things themselves, right? Like, sure. Let's manifest that. So I still I have not heard back from underwriting, so I'm still not sure about that piece of it, but everything else continues to move forward, and hopefully in a week we will be closing. All right.
You gotta sign.
Oh, I have to sign. Just thought we wanted my initials. I'm gonna run away with the keys.
Run away with the keys. There you are.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, exciting.
Congrats.
All right, that's it. Ooh, it's super echoey in here. So I guess I'll try to keep my voice down. I hope you can hear me. So I just left the lawyer's office. I've already started bringing things into the house because I'm not staying here tonight. It feels wrong to be here without my cat. So in just a few minutes, I'm headed back to Asheville. So this ends the home purchase vlog. I am now the owner, and responsible for all the things, But I'm excited for this next chapter. And as a little sneak peek, that's the kitchen. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll subscribe. Continue to follow along as I actually move into this space and make it my own. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.